Hey everyone, I wanted to check in really quick. The last time I posted a video, I said that my check ride would be September 26th, and I was really kind of stressed about getting ready, and the stress was really adding up. I was getting to the point where I really wasn't sure if I was going to pass my check ride. And I guess my cheapskate tip for you today is don't fail a check ride. Not that it's the end of the world if you fail a check ride, but they're expensive. We're talking around $1,000, at least the case with my designated pilot examiner is he charges an $800 fee, and that's about standard in this area. It seems like they all charge around that much or more. But then in addition to that, you're also, flying the airplane, so I'll throw in another $200 for renting the plane and gas. So when you fail a check ride, there's $1,000 down the drain. That being said, some designated pilot examiners don't charge as much for a retake because if you pass a portion of your check ride, you only have to retake the portions that you failed, so that hopefully the next check ride will be a little bit abbreviated. So some DPs may not charge their full original fee. Maybe most do, maybe most don't. I don't really know. I know some do and some don't. I don't know which one my DPE does, but I didn't really ask because my plan is to pass it. I feel a lot better about this new date I have, which is September 13th, and I think I'm going to be ready on time. In the meantime, I'm trying to fly as much as I can. I was going to fly this morning, but unfortunately I got a case of the Rona. I've been dodging it for 3.5 years, and it finally got me. My voice sounds a little congested, that's why. So I'm actually feeling a lot better than I was a couple of days ago. I was thinking to myself, could I fly? I would be flying alone. It'd just be a solo flight. So on one hand, there's the just social responsibility question of, is it a good idea to be getting in an airplane that I'm sharing with other people if I still could be contagious? And I thought, maybe if I wipe it all down when I'm done, I'm okay, but still I'm a little on the fence about that. But then the next question is there's a mnemonic that the FAA came up with that's I am safe. I stands for illness, so you need to evaluate how are you doing health-wise before you fly. So in my case, yes, I am sick, but every time you're sick doesn't necessarily mean you can't fly. If you have a sore throat, that doesn't really affect your flying that much. So I do feel a lot better than I did. I don't feel like, going and running a marathon by any means. I guess I never really feel like running a marathon. I'm definitely still sick and a little tired. But it occurred to me that one of the symptoms I've had is kind of a foggy brain, where it's a little hard to focus and simple tasks are a little difficult to think about. So I was thinking that probably isn't the sort of thing that I want in the air. And maybe I'm over that now, but I just woke up, so it's kind of hard to evaluate that. The next is M, which stands for medication. The FAA has a list of medications for which it does recommend flying and ones which it does not recommend flying, and how long you should go between them. The only medication I've really been taking is Mucinex D, and if you look at the ingredients, it's got, however you pronounce this thing, I like to call it guano face because I think that's funny, but that's not how you actually say it. And this one that looks kind of like Sudafed, because I think that is the main ingredient in Sudafed, though I could be wrong. They both show up in this category where the FAA says, yeah, you're probably okay to fly on that. If I were taking Mucinex DM, that would be a different case because it has this guy, which puts you to sleep. And in particular, it would be bad since I'm taking a 12-hour release version. They want you to wait 5 dosage cycles, so that'd be 60 hours after taking it before you can fly. But I haven't been taking that. If I were taking NyQuil, that would also be an issue. There is this little caution about Sudafed-like medications that could cause problems if you have an existing heart condition. I don't know if Mucinex is considered a Sudafed-like medication because it has that pseudoephedrine or whatever in it. But I don't have an underlying heart condition, so I wasn't too concerned about that. By the way, I am not a doctor and I'm not a lawyer, so I'm just providing you the information about what I went through to make my decision. Don't sue me if you make your go, no-go decision based on this and it turns out to be the wrong decision. The S is stress. I don't really feel too stressed. The A is alcohol. I haven't been drinking alcohol. If I were taking NyQuil, I'm not really sure if that would count because it has alcohol in it, but it's not like like a drink. I don't know. I'm not sure if that would count. The F stands for fatigue. I am fatigued. I've been fatigued for the last 9 years. 9 years ago, my son was born, but I am a little more fatigued than normal right now. Whether or not it's safe enough to fly, hard to say. And then E, I've heard it stand for emotions, or some people will say external pressures, or some will say environment. Kind of just depends on who you ask. I don't think I'm really emotionally compromised today, so I think that's fine. So for me, the medicine's fine. The fatigue and the illness, I would say, are certainly borderline disqualifiers for me. And then combine that with just whether or not I want to be getting my germs inside an airplane that I'm sharing with other people, I've decided it's a no-fly day for me. Also, even if I am safe to fly, am I really in the best state to be learning and retaining all the information I learned? Is it a good day to really be practicing, getting ready for the check ride? I'd probably be better off waiting a couple more days. But the day's not lost. I'm going to spend some time this morning with my good friend, the FAR AIM, which if you're not familiar, the FAR stands for Federal Aviation Regulations. AIM stands for something that starts with A, I, and M, like Aeronautical Information Manual, something along those lines. Anyway, it's got non-regulatory stuff that's just kind of advice on what you should do when you're flying an airplane. And I'll also be looking through the ACS, the Airman Certification Standards, which is basically just a list of everything you need to know for the check ride. So anyway, the day won't be lost. Just today's better spent doing a little studying instead of doing a little flying. I'll be flying again soon.